When you're a predator that has to compete with leopards and tigers, you're in for an uphill battle. If you're smaller, slower, and not as stealthy as other carnivores in the mountain forests of Asia, you better have something else up your sleeve. For one courageous canine, the road to victory is one traversed with friends. Only by jolly cooperation and clear communication do these intrepid doggos feed their families. But sometimes living and working together is your best shot at thriving in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's 30 minutes of interesting animal info, and I'm Joe.
I'm Carlos.
And today we're talking about a canine that whistles while it works. But more on that later.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the weird whistling wolf.
Ah.
That's one of my nicknames.
Okay. Would you like to tell us the rest?
It's the Dhole. That's the name of the animal.
That's the actual name.
Yes, the Dhole. The D-hole. The Dhole. The Dhole?
Dhole.
So, yeah, you gotta put some aspiration on that D because it's spelled D-H-O-L-E. Just the word hole with a D in front of it. Mm-hmm. Unpronounceable, except for just say Dhole.
Yeah.
And the other two nicknames I have are doling out the punishment. And the last one is a can-a-day of Dhole keeps the tigers at bay.
Okay. Nice. A full can.
Yeah, you have to have a full can of it.
It's also called the Asian wild dog, the Asiatic wild dog, the Indian wild dog, the whistling dog, the red dog, and the mountain wolf.
And just take that right off my paper.
You're welcome. You have less work to do.
Good. I'm going to slack off for the next 10 seconds. Well, this is 10 seconds that I've earned. But so let's talk about how this thing is classified. Because you're like, what is this? You said a wolf, right? Is it a wolf? Wrong.
Right, it's wrong.
But what is
Correct,
right
it's
is
wrong.
that they're both in the kingdom that we know, love, and are in, which is kingdom Animalia.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go right over to that sweet phylum, chore data.
Right,
So
yeah.
Data is such a chore.
Well, it's like when your mom makes a chart and puts it on the fridge of like the schedule for it's like
Or how
well you've been doing.
How many chores you've done in the last?
Yeah.
Like you want that to go up and to the right.
Yeah. But it's chore data.
The phylum is chordata.
Right.
You know, I don't want people to think that it's chore data. The classes, well, you guessed it. I imagine. I hope by this time, because Joe's doing an animal. It's mammalia.
Yeah, of course. What the heck? Is there any other kind? Yeah, like insects. A lot of them are.
Most of them, actually. The order is carnivora, because I guess you can't be a carnivore unless you're a mammal.
Carnivora. I just put my emphasis on the different syllable.
Syllable, like Bob Dylan.
Uh-huh.
The family is Canidae, hence the Canidae of Dhole keeps the tigers at bay. The tribe, which I could not leave out, is canini.
Stop being such a canini.
No, canini. It's delicious.
Okay.
It's a small dog sandwich. Dog Italian sandwich. The genus is Quan.
That's good.
Careful, Quan.
We finally won one Quan.
That's what William Shatner yells. Quan!
Come on, guys. Let's go hunt some deer or something.
So the binomial nomenclature is Quan alpinus.
Uh-huh.
And that's
Alpinus.
Alpinus?
Like alpine? Because I'm assuming it means mountain dog.
I'm going to say alpinus.
Okay.
I like it. So this is a dog-looking thing. It's similar to the genus Canis, which actual dogs are in, including wolves, coyotes, jackals, and dingoes. But its skull is a different shape, and it has different teeth. And I'm saying that to avoid going into like a serious anatomical description of their jaws and stuff like that, to differentiate these guys from Canis.
Okay.
So, but let's talk about where these guys live. Where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Quan Sandiego?
Oh.
They mostly live in East and South Asia, with a bit of Central thrown in for flavor. Basically from the stands, the Kazakhstans, the Turkmenistans,
stands.
the... What?
Nothing.
So the stands?
Stan is with a word the kids are saying to mean like an obsessive fan. Because
What is it a portmanteau? What is the
no,
ST
it
come
comes from a song called Stan by Eminem, and it's about obsessive fan, and his name is actually Stan.
Oh.
But now you'll hear like on the social medias like I'm a stan for Taylor Swift.
Oh, great. I'm glad I know that.
You're welcome.
From the good stands, I guess, Uzbekistan,
Right.
all that stuff, to Korea, and all the way down to Indonesia. It's got a wide range for being basically an endangered species.
Yeah.
So now you know where it lives, but what does this look like? You know it's a dog-ish thing, but how dog?
Mm-hmm.
How much dog is there?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. It's a coyote fox.
I would say, yeah, that's fair.
It's about the size of a coyote, and it looks very much like a fox.
It's like a furrier, like shorter, stockier version of the Ethiopian wolf.
Yeah, or just a bigger fox.
Right.
Although it has a wider skull and well-developed chewing muscles, giving it a kind of bigger head hyena look.
In the face.
Mm-hmm. Although it's not very much like hyenas socially, as we'll get into later. It has red-orange fur with a white chest and throat and chin and belly. Mm-hmm. Just like an adorable little fox. Yep. There is one picture that I saw that was like, if I did not know that I was on the Dhole page, I'd be like, this is a fox. This is a cute fox. It has a darker tail, and it's fluffy, like a fox is.
Mm-hmm.
So very fox-like. Does that mean... So I'm done with the appearance. Does that mean now is time for critter groups?
I guess.
So
critter groups does sort of interrupt the description.
So I polled 3 listeners, and they all said they like critter groups, and that it should have its own intro music.
Were 2 of them children?
That doesn't matter.
I guess this show is for kids and families.
Their votes are just as valuable.
Okay. Go for it. It should have its own intro?
Yeah, they love it. They love it more than Measure Up. It's the best. It's now the listener's favorite part of the show. Critter groups. Critter groups.
Okay. I disagree, but I don't think the data would
Really? How many people voted for Measure Up?
More than 3. Like 15.
Really?
Yeah. That's that's what my memory is showing.
I think 4 people voted for that.
No, I think it was like 7.
And 3 of them voted for Measure Up.
It was actually like 7.
All right, so it's time for critter groups, where I, Carlos, pose to you, Joe, a multiple choice question, on asking what the name is of a group of these things.
Okay.
That was a way to say it. So here it goes. What is the name of a group of dholes? Is it A, a clan? Is it B,
pineapples?
Right out of the gate, I didn't even need to say the rest of them. You're right, it's pineapples. No, is it A, a clan? Is it B, a pack? Is it C, a troop? Or is it D, a pilgrimage?
So I thought this would be different. Like there was a specific, I guess there could be a specific name for these. But all canines are in either a clan or a pack. And I think...
So is A or B?
So I think a clan is like family groups. And a pack is like, it could be like larger with more than just one family in it. So I already know that they're in family groups. So it's a clan.
Darn Wikipedia page.
This is easy.
It's right there on the Wikipedia page.
I mean, I don't think there's any dog species that are called anything but a pack or a clan.
I imagine that wolves are in packs instead of clans, but these are particularly in clans.
Yeah, and hyenas are in clans.
We got to pick one that's not so straightforward, like flocks and packs. Of course, everybody knows those already. We're going to do a fish, and the answer is going to be school.
With birds, there's some birds that are in other types of things, like crows.
Yeah, but it's not a flock of crows. It's a murder
exactly,
of
that's
crows.
what I'm saying.
I know, but flock is so generic.
But dogs is all like, it's all like packs and clans.
Are you sure? All of them? Like, it's not a something of jackals?
Maybe. But a clan is
a scheme of jackals. Oh, I hope it's a scheme.
The rest are just all of the rest of these names are so arbitrary. But clans and packs are different things, and they have definitions. Yeah. Besides the fact that it's a group of this type of animal.
Yeah, but this said they're in clans rather than packs.
Right. Because they hang out with their own kin.
Just like me. I hang out with my own kin.
Are we ready for the true listener's favorite part of the show?
I don't know. Recent polls say otherwise.
The part of the show that's introduced by you, the listener. This is going to be a good segment for two reasons. One, we have a new Measure Up intro.
Yes.
And second, over the weekend, I was told that Measure Up, it's not as relatable as it could be. So I've taken it upon myself to just kind of enhance the relatableness this season.
So it's all going to be in iPhones. How many iPhones go into a...
No. So I'm declaring this the end of the kinder, gentler Measure Up season. And now it's going to be a season of woe. It's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let's get into it. This is going to be good.
I'm excited.
So first of all, this is the part of the show where I pose questions to Carlos to convey the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms. And it's also introduced by you. This week, it's introduced by my girlfriend, Johanna. After being exposed online, she was able to...
Exposed?
Yeah, by you.
No, just called out.
Okay, here we go.
I haven't exposed anything except for lack of participation.
Yeah. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. There was actually some reverb on that.
V for vibrato.
There was full-on real-life reverb on that.
Vibravo, I would even say.
Excellent work. That the sound quality was perfecto. That's Italian for perfect.
Good.
But let's get right into it. Much obliged. Send
Finally.
7 more.
7 more, and also leave a review.
Yeah.
Participate.
Length. Let's talk about length. They're 3 feet or 0.9 meters. If each of the islands that make up Indonesia represented 1 foot, how many dholes would go into the length of each of these 1-foot islands if they were in a row?
What are my options?
Well, I don't have options, but I do have a hint. Indonesia is a collective of 1,904,569 square kilometers, or 735,000 square miles. Does that help you?
No. What is the question again?
So Indonesia has more than one island.
Sure.
If each one of those islands represented 1 foot, how many dholes would go into the total number of feet?
Or if a dhole was 3 islands, then how many dholes would go into the number of islands in Indonesia?
Yeah, sure.
That's more relatable.
No. You're doing the math. You're conveying the relatability.
No, the understandable metrics is the relatability.
Listen, I could have made each island worth 3.5 feet.
There's 1,000 islands somewhere near New York. That's where they came up with the delicious dressing.
Sure.
And it doesn't seem like there are 1,000 islands over there.
I don't think there are.
I think there are.
Okay.
I believe them. I believe the dressing. So I'm gonna say there's a ton of islands just in the Aegean Sea in Greece.
Which agency?
The
Central Intelligence?
Okay, so I'm going to say there's 3,000 islands, which makes for very simple math. So the answer is 1,000.
Incredibly wrong. There are 17,000 islands. That makes it 5,000 666 doles.
Unacceptable. That's too many islands. Someone should take some of their islands away from them.
Or push them together. Weight. Males are slightly larger at 15 to 21 kilograms or 33 to 46 pounds. Let's call it an even 40. A country's ability to produce electricity is measured in gigawatts. If the amount of gigawatts India is able to produce were each 1 pound, how many doles would go into it? Nope, I'm not doing it. How many doles would go into it? Is this relatable to you, Andrew? He called me out. Did you come back for your hint?
Okay, I've cooled off a little bit.
Here's your hint. In 2008, a DeLorean was converted to run on solely electricity. It was capable of reaching at least 88 miles per hour, but it still can't hope to ever produce anything close to 1.21 gigawatts.
So,
or gigawatts, as he says in the show, in the movie.
So my frontal lobe melted a little bit during the question.
Would you like another hint? Here's another hint.
Can you repeat the question though?
Well, here's another. I'll do that after this other hint. A lot of people think that the DeLorean could not actually reach 88 miles per hour, but because the speedometer only goes to 85. But that's because of a regulatory thing that they had to put in a speedometer that only goes to 85, but it actually could go over 100 miles an hour.
That's great.
Anyway,
that's way too. That movie is okay. I'm not gonna. I didn't look at the speedometer.
That movie is excellent, and a country's ability to produce electricity is measured in gigawatts.
Okay.
If each one of those gigawatts was a pound, how many doles would go into the total weight?
And how heavy is a dole?
40 pounds.
Okay. I'm gonna say 5 billion. Wait, per year?
I think at a time.
What?
I think at a time, like their infrastructure can produce that. Maybe a year. Yeah, sure. I don't know. It just said can produce this much.
That would be a vastly different number, I think.
Well, that's what I saw.
Oh, I guess like a light bulb gives off like 40 watts.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
All the time.
Yes. At a time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm off. There's no time constraint. Kilowatt hours, that's what things are usually measured in, and that would be the time constraint.
1,149 kilowatt hours per capita. Does that help you? Because you don't know.
It would if I was
go into a gigawatt. And how many capitas are in India?
I do know that. There are 1,000 kilowatts in a gigawatt. If bytes go in the same way, kilobytes to gigabytes, and then there per 1,000 people in India, and there are what 1.5 I want to say billion people, which is like 1.5, which divided by 1,000 is 1.5 million. I'm doing some good math here, but I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, is it getting you anywhere? It's a short ride in a fast machine.
Well, so, I don't know. Watts. I feel like at a certain point, watts just explode, right? So...
Sure.
I don't know. You can't have like 1 billion watts at one time. It'd be too bright. So I'm going to say 500,000 watts. And what?
40 pounds.
40 pounds. And a watt is a pound?
Yeah.
We're looking at... Final answer, 80,000.
7.5 doles.
Is it like not a lot of watts?
300. Gigawatts are apparently huge.
That's so weak.
Like 1 gigawatt is huge. Like can power like thousands of households.
Per gigawatt, not per watt.
Yes.
Oh. I don't like this. Can we go back to the ones where I can get pretty close?
Maybe next. We'll find out next week.
Oh goodness gracious!
Do you have any
I'm sweating.
Things before this major fact?
Yes, I do.
Well, hurry up.
So the dole. Remember, we're talking about the dole, not the electrical output of the country of India.
We just learned about 7 doles and what they can do. They can power India.
If we get 9 doles together, then you have a good golf course.
half of the golf course.
So it likes mountainous regions, alpine meadows, because it's the Quan alpinus, and it likes taigas, which are snow forests. But it also likes tigers.
Does it? I would think it doesn't, because they're scary.
Tigers are scary, but they're also food.
Okay. Are you going to... Okay.
But you're going to talk about that, right?
I'm not going to talk about how they eat tigers.
They hunt tigers.
Okay.
That's what it said.
All right. I feel like that's on the low end of the list of on the grocery list.
Still on the grocery list. If you have
time, some tiger
and some cojones.
Yeah.
So these guys are super social. Hyenas are also super social, but these guys are social in a good way. Mm-hmm. Hyenas are brutal to each other. Just check out our spotted hyena episode. So dholes don't really have to worry about that much food shortage. So they are not very territorial. And they don't use their urine or feces to mark their territory like other members of the family Canidae tend to do. In fact, they seem to use the bathroom in a commercial latrine. They're civilized pups. They have like a spot to go to the bathroom in their territory. That's crazy. Yeah. That's like what naked mole rats have.
Yeah.
And when urinating, they sometimes do a handstand. Handstand urination is what it's called.
I've seen little dogs do that.
Like they'll lift up one leg and then just lift up the other leg and then I guess just pee all over themselves. I don't know how that works. How that works well for them.
That looks fun.
It looks messy.
Just take a shower right after.
They are often predated upon by tigers and leopards, but dholes often try to steal their kills. Mm-hmm. And dholes will take on bears and snow leopards.
Like in a pack.
Yeah, they not by themselves. They like to fight. And that's all I got.
Okay. Well, here's the major fact in this episode. You've heard of dog whistles, but have you heard of whistling dogs? Dholes are prolific vocalists with a wide range of calls that help them communicate with one another, which is not uncommon for canine species. However, unlike your canine companions or wolves, dholes don't bark or howl. It's not something that's in their repertoire.
They're wolfatoire.
They're wolfatoire. Instead, they let out a series of siren songs when they want to share their feelings or spill the tea.
Siren songs?
Not exactly.
They lure men to their deaths with their whistling.
Well, deer, if you mean deer. Well, they also don't lure deer with their... They talk to each other.
They dog to each other.
Dholes are extremely social animals, even more so than like gray wolves that live in packs. Some researchers believe that this is because dholes are able to spend less time fretting about war, hatred, and seasonal food scarcity, like northern living...
Like every other animal.
Yeah. So they chill, they talk. They get to talk and they get into deep conversations. Like wolves, though, dholes hunt and live in groups and coordinate movement and attacks with body language and vocalization. When they attack, they will scream a war cry that's described as ka-ka-ka-ka. That's what it was written out as, and that's how it's pronounced when you say it.
That was deceiving. I thought there was a dhole in the deluxe studio with us.
It's a Deluxe studio now.
Deluxe!
When they are socializing, they might perform sounds and body language movements that are similar to your dog at home. When they want food, when they want someone to give them food, they'll let out a little whine. They'll warn others to back off with a growl. They'll scream and chatter when alarmed. And they'll yap when startled or hurt. They will also put their arms and shoulders forward and down with their tail in the air when they want to play.
That's cute.
It's a familiar little dog thing.
Just imagine a larger fox.
Yeah.
Just wanting to play.
Yeah.
When you're the best of friends.
It's not even the cutest part. Here's the cutest part. They smile with their mouths closed when they're friendly or submissive, and they smile with their mouths open when they want to play.
Like my dog Yoshi.
Yeah, people are always like, they're not smiling. That's just the way their mouth is shaped. But it's like, yeah, but that's the way their mouth is shaped when they have a certain emotion, and when that emotion is usually positive.
When they're pleased.
So that
happy.
sounds like a smile.
That sounds
to me.
like a smile. Yeah. Their mouth is not always shaped that way.
Yeah.
Unless your dog's mouth is actually always shaped that way.
Yeah. Like the Joker of dogs. Finally, when they're moving through thick brush, they stay together by whistling. We actually aren't sure how they do that. Dog faces aren't usually made for whistles.
They don't purse their lips all the time.
No, but it sounds like whistle, like a whistle, similar to like air moving through an opening in your mouth.
Teeth.
But it also could be a short, high-pitched whine that just sounds like a whistle. It's used to coordinate movements when the D-holes are when they can't see each other through the thick underbrush. My theory is that hunting in a forest full of birds and things that make small squeaking sounds, it's less conspicuous to like make these little whistling sounds than it is to like bark or make other yapping noises like dogs usually do.
They tweet at each other.
Yes. And now for some other hunting facts. I will warn you, from here on out, it gets violent. We're talking about how they hunt and how they take down prey, and it's gross and
Brutal.
So if that is not something you want to hear,
Go listen to our hyena episode.
yeah. So first of all, they hunt a wide variety of prey, like rabbits and smaller things, but also all the way up to like large deer. Asia and India have a wide range of different deer species that are majestic as yuck. Like, go look up some of the deer in India. But a lot of them are a lot bigger prey species than a dhole is. So they're slower than other canines, especially they're slower than foxes too that hunt by themselves. But they often chase prey for longer distances. But a typical prey chase is short. But they take turns with part of the group sprinting ahead after prey, while others maintain a slower, restful pace behind them, and then they'll switch. Dholes will often lead prey to bodies of water where their movement is hindered and they can become exhausted more quickly.
That's what I didn't understand, because wouldn't the dhole's movement also be hindered?
So I saw a video of this. They lead like a deer into some water, and then it's standing in the water, and they'll like get close to it, and it'll start like splashing the water like violently, and then they'll back off. So it's like getting tired, and it eventually has to leave the water, and that's when they get it.
It doesn't just swim to the other side, or whatever it is.
I don't know. Maybe they choose bodies of water they can walk around or swim around.
Or maybe it goes into the water and then they jump the distance between. They can like close the distance because it has to slow down.
Maybe. When they catch up to small prey under 50 kilograms, they'll kill and eat them quickly. But larger prey takes longer to bring down, and it can take 15 minutes for them to die. Here's why. Prey like deer is taken down with one dog biting its nose, while the rest bring down its haunches and back legs. In some instances, they will attack the eyes to blind prey. Dholes don't go for kill bites on the throat or the back of the neck like leopards do, like most other, like even like wolves do. Instead, they disembowel prey and allow them to bleed out, which is terrible. And,
it's very nice of them.
But also, African wild dogs will also do that, and there's like close lineage between the two species.
Kind and considerate.
Yeah. Wolves will allow alpha pairs to eat first, but dholes feed their pups first, and then the rest of the clan eats. They will also return to dens and regurgitate food for new mothers and young pups that stayed behind. So they're ruthless to their prey, but they're nice to their own, yeah.
Their own kin.
Yeah. So that's the dhole.
I heard they can run 30 miles an hour, which is pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's like emu fast.
Yeah. In short bursts. Dogs are fast.
It's just crazy to think of these like slightly oversized foxes taking down what is like an Indian caribou, like Indian version of a caribou.
Yeah.
Some of these, there are a lot of mammals in Asia. Like if you think of Asian mammals, it's usually like, I don't know, there's a panda, right? That's about it.
Pandas, tigers.
There's tons of weird looking cattle things.
Yeah.
And you showed me a picture of what was it?
I'm looking that up right now because it was so.
It's like you sewed the head of a goat onto a water buffalo's body. It's got this tiny head and this huge like cow body, and it's ridiculous looking. It looks like one of Sid's toys.
They hunt Chital, Sambar deer, Mun, Tajak, mouse deer, which are cute, Barasingha, wild boar, gar, water buffaloes, Bontang, cattle, and then the weird one, the one that's like a goat, is the Nilgai, Nilgai. Look that up. It's ridiculous looking.
That's the goat buffalo.
But those are also like one of the ones that the ungulates that put up the most fight from like with dholes, because they have thick hides and short, thick horns that can easily impale an unsuspecting dhole. Dole out some punishment.
Yeah, dole out that punishment. So when I was talking about the tigers, so they will if they're like, I guess if they don't find other food, they will attack a tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Not just as defense, but like to kill and eat it. And it's like the most dangerous prey they could go for, though. But
except for man.
The man's not their prey.
They're the most dangerous game, though.
Yeah, but they don't hunt them, so it's not even a game.
I'm not playing.
Apparently, tigers will usually climb trees, and then that's it for the dogs. They can't follow them. But also sometimes they'll put their back to like a bush or something like that, and then just like the end of Ice Age, you got all these predators going after a much bigger, dangerous prey source, and apparently, whenever the tiger tries to make a break for it, it dies. It gets killed by the dholes. But it usually wins when it stands its ground, because it can kill a dhole with one paw strike.
Yeah.
So it can easily thin that clan out if it stands its ground. But as soon as it runs away, then they can catch up to it and bite its nose or whatever they do. Whatever horrible thing they do. Not that tigers are much nicer to their prey.
The dhole that bites the nose of the tiger is the one that dies.
Is in for a treat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a really sensitive spot. You get a canine to bite down on that, like you're stopping what you're doing, and that's now your number one focus, and then all the other dogs just pile on.
When it comes to like one thing versus a pack, the pack has the advantage of like they can wait for the one thing to just run out of energy, because like prey animals will often like exhaust themselves running away. I saw like this one thing where like wild dogs were chasing this water buffalo or something, and the water buffalo the description of the video was that the water buffalo exerted so much energy running away and fighting that its muscles were like depleted to the point of like being damaged. So it was literally like it paralyzed itself trying to exert energy running away.
Huh.
So it was just like eating it alive.
In pure panic mode.
Yeah. And it couldn't do anything. It was just like completely depleted, which is awful.
Yeah. They need better stamina management.
But dogs got to eat. Yep. They let that green bar run out.
They got to play some Dark Souls. All right. So for you out there in Podcastia, find strength in numbers. Be nice to each other, and whistle while you work, like the Dhole in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Like the wily Dhole, we like to work together, especially when it comes to making the best Measure Up segment we can. I'll find the facts, Carlos will struggle through the math, and all you have to do is record the intro. Just say, sing, chatter, or bark the words Measure Up into your phone's recording app and email it to ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and working together with us.
Chitter.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Hold on. What, are there some Dholes outside? Doling out barks? Dholes don't actually bark. That's a spoiler alert for later in the episode. They also don't howl.
Sorry,
Did you dole out some
I had
punishment?
to put my dog to sleep.
Oh no.
Shh. Shh. Don't struggle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
What class is it?